Top 15 rare world war vehicles you didn't know existed. 2 pushed engineers to build machines that belonged in science fiction. From 1939 to 1945, nations created vehicles so bizarre that most never made it into history books. Tanks that could swim, jeeps that could fly, guns so massive they traveled by railway. Today, we're uncovering 15 forgotten machines that time nearly erased. Let's begin. Number 15. The Kugelpanzer, the rolling mystery. Our first entry is perhaps the strangest armored vehicle ever photographed, and we still don't fully understand it. The Kugelpanzer, German for ball tank, was a spherical one-man vehicle discovered by Soviet forces in Manchuria in 1945. It measured just under 6 feet in diameter, weighed nearly 2 tons, and was powered by a single-cylinder engine producing just 17 horsepower. Here's what makes it haunting. We know almost nothing about its purpose. No blueprints survived. No operational records exist. The single surviving example sits in Russia's Kubinka Tank Museum, where it has never been opened for study. Was it a reconnaissance vehicle? A rolling command post? Nobody knows. And that mystery has made the Kugelpanzer one of the most debated artifacts of the entire war. Number 14. The Panzer 8 Maus, Hitler's steel elephant. The Maus wasn't just big. It was the largest fully enclosed armored fighting vehicle ever constructed. Weighing 188 tons, this German super heavy tank was designed by Ferdinand Porsche. Yes, the same Porsche who built sports cars. Hitler wanted an unstoppable mobile fortress, and Porsche delivered a machine so heavy it could collapse bridges and sink into soft ground. Only 2 prototypes were ever built. The Maus carried a 128 mm main gun capable of destroying any Allied tank, but it could barely move at 13 miles per hour. When Soviet forces closed in on testing grounds in 1945, German engineers destroyed both prototypes. The Soviets later combined salvageable parts into a single display vehicle. The Maus proved a fundamental truth. Sometimes, bigger isn't better. It's just a bigger target. Number 13. The T-28 Super Heavy Tank, America's forgotten giant. While Germany built the Maus, America was working on its own answer. The T-28. This 95-ton monster was designed for one purpose: punching through the Siegfried Line. Its massive 105 mm gun could penetrate 12 inches of armor at 1,000 yards. But the T-28 was so wide, it couldn't fit on standard railroad cars. Engineers made track assemblies detachable, but crews needed hours just to transport it. Only 2 were completed, arriving too late for combat. One was lost in a mysterious fire. The other disappeared, only to be rediscovered in 1974, sitting abandoned behind a military base. Today, that surviving T-28 sits in a museum, a monument to American ambition and wartime desperation. Number 12. The TOG-2, the old gang's last stand. TOG stood for the old gang, British engineers who designed World War I tanks, called back in 1940. Their creation looked like it belonged in the previous war. The TOG-2 stretched 33 feet long, weighed 81 tons, and moved at 8 miles per hour. It was designed for trench warfare, but by completion, the war had evolved into fast armored combat. The TOG-2 was immediately obsolete. Only a single prototype was built, never seeing combat. Yet there's something noble about it. These elderly engineers gave everything to build what they knew. The battlefield changed, but their dedication hadn't. The sole surviving TOG-2 rests at the Bovington Tank Museum, a relic of a war that almost was. Number 11. The Bob Semple Tank, the tractor that tried. Not every rare vehicle was sophisticated. Some were born of pure desperation. In 1940, New Zealand faced potential Japanese invasion with virtually no armor. Minister Bob Semple made a decision that earned him a place in military history for all the wrong reasons. Using corrugated iron and a Caterpillar tractor, engineers created what could generously be called a tank. It carried 6 Bren guns, required 8 crew members, 2 lying on mattresses atop the engine to operate rear weapons. The armor could be penetrated by machine gun fire. Crews suffered carbon monoxide poisoning during tests. Only 3 were built. Critics mocked it mercilessly, but Bob Semple argued that something was better than nothing when invasion loomed. In that context, the Bob Semple tank wasn't a joke. It was courage, forged from a tractor and prayers. Water and armor don't mix. That didn't stop engineers from trying. Number 10. The Schwimmwagen, the Volkswagen that could swim. Before modern amphibious vehicles, there was the Schwimmwagen, and it actually worked brilliantly. Designed by Ferdinand Porsche and built by Volkswagen, this German amphibious car was the most mass-produced amphibious vehicle in history. Over 15,000 were built between 1942 and 1944. It featured a watertight hull and rear-mounted propeller. On land, it reached 50 miles per hour. In water, 6 miles per hour. German forces loved it. Allied soldiers who captured them loved it more. Today, surviving Schwimmwagens are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some collectors still take them swimming. Number 9. The Type 3 Ka-Chi, Japan's underwater tank. Japan took amphibious warfare further than any nation, literally beneath the surface. The Type 3 Ka-Chi was designed to launch from submarines, travel underwater using snorkel tubes, and emerge on enemy beaches combat-ready. It weighed 28 tons and operated 15 feet below the surface. Detachable pontoons provided buoyancy during ocean crossings. Crew members breathed through an extended snorkel system. 19 were built for amphibious assault on American islands. But Japan lost naval superiority before deployment. The Ka-Chi never saw combat, yet its concept was decades ahead of its time. Number 8. The D.D. Sherman, the swimming coffin. The duplex drive Sherman was supposed to revolutionize amphibious assault. On D-Day, it became a death trap. British engineer Nicholas Straussler developed collapsible canvas screens that made Sherman tanks float. In calm water, it worked perfectly. In the English Channel on June 6, 1944, it was catastrophic. Of 32 D.D. Shermans launched toward Omaha Beach, 27 sank within minutes. Waves were too high. Canvas collapsed. Crews drowned, trapped inside as tanks plummeted to the seafloor. At Utah Beach, commanders launched closer to shore. Most survived. Those sunken tanks still lie off Normandy. Some consider them war graves. Ground vehicles were limited, so engineers asked an insane question: what if tanks could fly? Number 7. The Antonov A-40, the tank that grew wings. The Soviets fitted a T-60 light tank with massive biplane wings and a tail assembly. The concept: tow it behind a bomber, release over enemy territory, glide down, detach wings, enter combat. Testing began in 1942. Results were terrifying. The towing bomber nearly crashed from stress. The tank glider was barely controllable. After one test flight, just one, the project was abandoned. The pilot reported controlling it was like flying a barn door, but for one moment, a Soviet tank actually flew. Number 6. The Hafner Rotabuggy, the spinning jeep. If gliding a tank was insane, spinning a jeep through the sky was certifiably mad. Austrian engineer Raoul Hafner attached a massive rotor to a Willys jeep. It could be towed aloft and autoritate down to landing. The Rotabuggy actually flew 65 miles per hour, several hundred feet altitude. But control was marginal, landings rough. By the time it was perfected, larger gliders could carry jeeps inside. Only one prototype was built. Yet footage of the Rotabuggy remains one of the war's most surreal images, a mundane vehicle transformed into something magical. Number 5. The Fock-Agilis Fa-223 Drache, the first transport helicopter. Germany built the world's first practical transport helicopter. The Fa-223 Drache could lift 2,000 pounds, reach 75 miles per hour, and fly above 23,000 feet. Twin counter-rotating rotors canceled torque. It was used for mountain rescue, artillery spotting, and cargo transport. Only 20 were built due to Allied bombing. After the war, captured Draches became the first helicopters crossing the English Channel. Modern military helicopters owe their existence to this forgotten German aircraft. Some vehicles defied categorization, machines serving purposes nobody else imagined. Number 4. The Kettenkrad, the motorcycle tank, half motorcycle, half tank, all German engineering madness. The Kettenkrad featured a front wheel for steering, rear tracks for propulsion, an arrangement that shouldn't work, but absolutely did. Over 8,000 were built. Paratroopers loved them for glider drops. Mountain troops loved them for climbing insane gradients. It reached 44 miles per hour and climbed 70-degree slopes. After the war, thousands found civilian use on farms. Today, running Kettenkrads sell for over $200,000. Number 3. The Goliath Tracked Mine, the Beetle of Death. It looked almost cute, a miniature tank smaller than a large dog. In reality, the Goliath was a remote-controlled bomb. It carried 60 kilograms of explosives connected by a 300-meter cable. Operators guided it toward targets, then detonated. Over 7,000 were produced, seeing action in Italy, France, and the Eastern Front. The Goliath was essentially an early drone, a remotely operated weapon decades before technology matured. Modern military robots trace their lineage to this strange German machine. Number 2. The Praying Mantis, the tank that could peek. British engineers had a problem. Tanks couldn't fire over obstacles without exposure. Their solution was magnificently bizarre. The Praying Mantis featured an articulated cabin raising over 10 feet on hydraulic arms. Crew could fire over hedgerows while the main vehicle stayed hidden. Testing revealed problems. The cabin was unstable when firing. Crew suffered motion sickness. Breakdowns were constant. Only one prototype was completed. The Mantis never saw combat. It was simply too early for available technology. Number 1. The Schwerer Gustav, the railway giant. Finally, the largest gun ever fired in combat. So massive it required parallel railway tracks. The Schwerer Gustav weighed 1,400 tons, measured 155 feet long. Its barrel fired 7-ton shells nearly 30 miles. Each round required a crane to load. Built to destroy France's Maginot Line, it took hundreds of soldiers 3 days to assemble. Over 2,000 crew members were needed for operation. It saw action once, Sevastopol, 1942, firing 48 rounds that devastated Soviet fortifications. As the war turned, both Gustav and its sister gun Dora were destroyed to prevent capture. Nothing like it has been built since. Nothing ever will be. 15 vehicles, 15 testaments to innovation under terrible pressure. Some failed, too heavy, too slow, too impractical. Others succeeded beyond expectations, influencing technology for generations. Each represents something profound, the willingness to try anything, no matter how impossible, in pursuit of survival. These weren't famous machines defining major battles. They were experiments, gamble, desperate innovations born as the world burned. Perhaps that makes them even more important to remember. Which vehicle surprised you most? Are there others deserving this list? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more forgotten history. And remember, sometimes the strangest pages of the past contain the most important lessons.